Listen carefully. Nobody is going to hell because he committed murder. Nobody is going to hell because he did 419. Stole people's money. Of course, stealing is a sin. Fornication is a sin. Murder is a sin. But nobody goes to hell for those acts. If you commit murder, you will be arrested and you will go to prison. If you steal, you will be caught and you will go to prison. All right? They are all sins. But nobody goes to hell because of those sins. Nobody goes to hell because of those sins. Condemnation is because they believe not the gospel.
All right, so today we're going to do a deep dive, and we're taking a look at this YouTube video, and it's titled, Nobody is Going to Hell for Their Individual Sins.
Wow.
It's by Dr. Abel Damila, and
Okay.
yeah, and I mean, just that title alone, I think, is going to spark some debate.
For sure. For sure.
So that's what we're here to do.
Absolutely.
And you've been diving into Dr. Damila's thoughts on this whole sin and damnation thing.
Yeah, I have.
So let's just jump right into this. This video, like right out the gate, it makes a pretty big claim. It says no one is going to hell for individual sins,
Right.
like murder or stealing or fornication.
Yeah, it's definitely an attention-grabbing statement for sure.
That's, I mean,
You don't see that every day.
yeah, I was kind of surprised by that. So, like, how does he back that up?
Well, the video, acknowledges that those things are sins, but it seems to be suggesting that those sins lead to a different type of consequence.
Okay.
Like, he argues that those sins primarily result in, like, earthly punishments, Like, if you think about it, like murder. Well, you go to prison. Stealing, you get in trouble with the law, things like that.
So it's like the law of man is a reflection of divine law.
Right, exactly. And the severity of the earthly punishment almost reflects the weight of the sin.
I see. So like a prison sentence,
Mhm.
that's like the earthly consequence. But does that really address like the spiritual aspect of sin?
Right, and that's where the video's emphasis on the gospel comes in.
Okay.
It's really focused on the idea that damnation, it's not about like a list of your sins,
Right.
but about your relationship to the gospel. Like he says that damnation is actually the consequence of rejecting the gospel, not necessarily these individual actions.
Okay, so wait. So it's not about like checking off a list of bad things you did. It's about whether you accept the gospel.
Exactly.
That's pretty different from how a lot of people think about it.
Yeah, it definitely, makes you kind of rethink things, right?
Yeah. So if it's not about a checklist of sins, then how do we even view morality?
Right. Where's the line?
Yeah, exactly. And does that make forgiveness like the most important thing?
Yeah, absolutely. And what do you think about all that?
I don't know. It's definitely a lot to think about.
It is. It is. It really pushes you to kind of look at religious doctrine in a different way. It's not just like sin equals hell.
Right. Exactly. It's less about your actions and more about your belief system.
Yeah.
Okay. So just to recap for a second, we've got earthly consequences for those sins. Then we've got this idea that the gospel, accepting the gospel, is like the ultimate deciding factor.
Right.
But here's a question for you. What about the people who have never even heard of the gospel?
That's a great question.
Where do they fit in?
Yeah. That's one that the video doesn't really address directly, but it's a really powerful question to consider, because it's making us think beyond a simple equation, right? And it's challenging us to, really look at all the different ways that faith and actions and ultimate judgment could all be connected.
I think you're right. I mean, this is a pretty complex issue.
It is.
And it's something that different faiths are going to view in different ways.
Absolutely.
There's probably not going to be one right answer.
Definitely not.
So I think we're going to leave it there for today.
Yeah, I think that's good.
This video has given us a lot to think about.
For sure.
And we encourage everyone to, continue to explore these ideas.
Yeah.
And come to your own conclusions.
Absolutely.
So thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.